pretty much almost done with this timing belt, valve adjustment, transmission flush. I got a couple more things I got to do on my 2010 Acura MDX. Got about 165,000 miles on it or something to that effect. Anyway, I'm getting ready to finish up, and as you can see, this piece of plastic, got the new water pump in, you can tell, and all that good stuff. I don't have the tensioner in yet. That's been a fucking nightmare because I bought a piece of Daco tensioner and Daco belt, which I'll never do again, and that pile of crap made a bunch of noise, so I couldn't get the bearings I wanted. I wanted to just press the bearings in and out of the pulleys. I ended up just taking the pulleys off the Daco piece of fucking junk, which is that piece of shit right there, and it's got stress cracks. I mean, actually, those are deeper than you think. I looked at them under a microscope, and that's testing to see why it was shifting and making noise, and these are the old pulleys off the car. So anyway, haven't put that back together yet, so I figured before I put the belt system back together and tried this experiment with the new bearings and pulleys on the old tensioner arm because it had good tension, I would take care of what I found was a leaking power steering pump. And yeah, it's just a little bit of seepage. It's not bad, but hell, I mean, I'm in there, so I'm going to take care of it. Yeah, so yeah, it's just a little dirty. Well, anyway, we're going to go over that, try to get this done. I bought a kit from the Amazonian, and that kit is from a company called New Y'all. And actually, I've used their parts in the past. They're pretty reasonably priced, and the valve cover gaskets lasted a lot longer than I thought they would for Honda and stuff like that. And it even came with this nifty little fucking thing right here, which goes on top of the power steering pump reservoir. What the fuck? Do I really need that? Guess I could clean the old one. Anyway, those seals look weird. I don't know. A lot of O-rings. Seal looks like it should fit the shaft. I hope I don't fuck this up and take this thing apart and find out this is the wrong kit, because that would suck. I'll be finding this thing and starting to fucking drip. So I'm going to get it over to the solvent tank and pause the video, and then we'll go from there. Since I'm going to be rebuilding the pump, hopefully, let's try out the heater on the solvent tank. Looks like it got it up to, oh shit. A little Earl came out. Pretty clean, not too bad. So we'll pull that old O-ring out. Let's see if we can find the one that matches it. I'm going to say it's that one. Yeah. Alright, old parts I can put right there. That's fine. Alright, so I lubricated the O-ring inside and out, put it back on the snout. I'm just going to twist it into place. Felt it seat. Felt pretty good. Good to go there. Insert the Z-bolt. And we'll see when I put it back together if it fucking whines. Then apparently I fucked up and that's not the right O-ring. Alright, that's about a 1 grunt, not a 2 grunt bolt. If you and talk shit all you want about my Ryobi half-inch impact, but you know what? It's been a good tool. There's 70 bucks sitting on the shelf at Home Depot on that corner aisle where they have the end cap, all the discounted shit, and it was cheap. So fuck it, why not? You know. All right, it's the part that gets a little bit scary. So I don't know which side is which. I've rebuilt a lot of pumps, and sometimes it's better just to pull it out one way. Let's see where I'm at here. All right, so I'm gonna flip it over, and we'll pull it out upside down. Yeah, that was the better idea. Part with all the fucking the guts, all the little pump teeth and little blades and fans or whatever the fuck you want to call them. I don't give a shit. But yeah, those things in there, this whole thing right here can be a fucktard of a mess because it can come apart and create all kinds of issues. So you just got to be very careful. So this is the part where I'm going to go spill some oil everywhere. And just kind of soak it up. It's okay because I don't care. If the outside clean, that's all that matters, right? Okay, so we're going to be changing the shaft seal, which is the main seal for this main shaft. That's not too bad to do. It's pretty easy to do. And then we'll change this O-ring here. I believe there's a second O-ring underneath this all the guts, and have to see how it comes out. It's usually just slides right off this end cap cover. So yeah, when you go to pull it off, pull your 4 bolts and come up. That way you can leave this in one piece. It makes life a lot easier. All right, I'm gonna leave this O-ring in place because I know I'm gonna have to change that at some point. So if I just leave it there, I will see it on my new pile and I won't miss it and put it back together. What you don't want to do is drop a vane, move a vane out of position, then you'll hear it go and it'll fucking blow up. So yeah, if you just keep all this shit in order, you're in pretty good shape. So we got a big old snap ring here to get off. Shouldn't be a big issue. I'm just gonna reach over and grab a snap ring pliers. Different snap ring pliers. You want to be a bitch? I got a better tool. You want to go to war? I'll bring a bigger gun. Alright, cool. So, this is an interesting part because, I mean, you're trying to not replace this bearing. On the old Acura Integras, when we did this power steering pump rebuild kit, I think we just came up with a parts kit, but we would always replace the shaft because we'd find that we'd replace just the shaft seal, and the shaft would have galling from the seal, and it would just leak right past the old shaft on the new seal. So, you know, kind of suck, but whatever. So to get this out, you have to tap with a tapometer right here and push the whole shaft and bearing assembly out this way. Pardon me, but a couple light taps with a brass hammer. Nothing crazy. Tapometer, excuse me. And there's your shaft. And there's your seal. No big deal. All right. Oh, that fucker was in there. Gotcha. I got you. And obviously, you put the seal in the way it came out. Don't be dumb and try something stupid. Last time I did this, I just pushed the seal in with my hands. Yeah, and they just push right in. And you can push it down with your thumbs pretty easily. And you can get the outside. And it comes in pretty square, too, and it's nice. And if you're pushing it a little further than before, you're not committing a major crime. You're likely just going to create a location where it's going to touch a new piece of metal, and that's okay, right? And so it's nice and lubed up. Now, typically when you push bearings in and out, you know, we don't be stupid, and we don't like to push the middle shaft while the opposite side's being held because it's putting pressure on the bearing and the race assembly. It could cause the bearing to come apart. That's not normal for you to do what we did here to take this out. All right, so when I got the shield in, we're going to take the shaft and drop it in. And now we need to push this bearing back in to a location where that snap ring can go back in. All right, so a socket, if I have one that fits right in there, because that would be perfect. But, you know, shooting a video, it's not a perfect world. That's pretty damn close. Let's see what kind of contact we make. Ooh. That's all metal. That's money right there. I'm going to take that. I take that straight to the bank. All right, and sometimes I'll start it with just a light tap on the edges just to get it going, just to get it started. Obviously, you don't want to hit the frickin' bearing seal. You're just touching, you know. I mean, at home, kids, if you don't know how to use a tapometer, then you probably shouldn't even be doing this job. Just saying. I'm going to see if I'm going to be on camera when I do this part right here. I think it'll be close. So basically, I'm going to hang it off the edge of the bench slightly. And now my shaft is floating off the edge of the bench. I'm going to place my socket on there and position it as best I can, and then give it a couple taps on the outside of the race. And just walk it down in. Kind of feel it stop. And I'm going to go just there. I can hear the sound of it. Mr. Snappy Ring goes back in place, and you can tell how snappy rings go in because they have a sharp edge side and they have a rounded side. Sharp edge side goes down. And you can look at the marks. They all have witness marks, you know. Alright, let's start putting her back together. So far, not too bad. Yeah, grab the snap O-ringo and try to compress it, but I like to hold my snap ring kind of in position because snap rings can be a bitch. And just drop it in and let it de-snap. Turn your shaft. Alright, I always turn on a brand new shaft water pump. I don't care what it is. I always turn the shaft 5 times full rotations one direction, 5 times full rotation another direction, even on a brand new bearing of any type, just so that I'm pushing lubrication around. Alright, because I don't know what the lubrication is inside that bearing housing. Alright, we're going to finish up here with, what the hell? this O-ring here. I'm just going to use my little snap-on pick or whatever the fuck kind of pick you want to get. I don't give a shit. Let's take a look at this O-ring, see how it is. Holy shit, it's actually not very soft anymore. It's kind of stiff, and it doesn't have the shape of a circular. That is a D-ring. That motherfucker changed shape into a D-ring. And thankfully I got the new one, so let's do a little lubrication. Not much, just a little. I'm just going to put it all along that hoe ring. And we're going to drop that hoe ring right in there. It's got a little place that it lives. Cool. So I'm going to grab onto, let's see what part lets it loose. Ooh, it's in there tight too. That's weird. So you can see right here, this is the, that's how it creates pressure. It's just a pump. It looks like I got one hoe ring there. Now let's find the macho to that low. Let's see. A little too small. Nope, that is it. Yep, and I can tell which one's the old one. Don't think I can't, because the old one's a fucking D-ring. It is not looking smooth at all. It's not looking good. It goes to the old pile of parts. And there's my new one. Alright, so now that the O-ring's out of the way, they're usually on pins. And it usually just works free. Ah, there it goes. Okay. That one's pretty tight. I'll be honest. That one is no joke. So I want to keep this piece all together if I can. And typically they're on a shaft. And they come down. And now, because it's all one piece, I can flip it over and look. Okay, there's no O-ring on that side. And I just want to make sure what I got on this side. Okay, so there's no O-ring there. There's just the bushing for the back of the shaft. And that's fine. I just need to make sure, right? So when you put it back together, you want to keep this mofo in one piece. And you want to put it back on these pins. All right, and that'll help you line it up. And it can be a cocksucker, so just be patient. It looks like this housing O-ring is kind of a little bit jacked up as well. Oh yeah, it's stiff. A little on the stiff side. Oh yeah, that's a D-ring now. Fuck, it's flat. Holy shit. No wonder it was fucking leaking. I would say this thing wasn't leaking. I will say this is seeping, and there's a big difference. Leaking to me is when you get drops on the ground. Okay, when you get coating, like in the first part of the video when you saw the coating, which is just a dusty coating, there is a light seep of fluid coming out from different areas as it heats and cools. And then as you drive, it collects a buttload of dust. That is seepage, not leakage. All right. Oh, wow. That's a big difference there. All right. Let's see how much of a nightmare this is going to be going back on. Oh, God. All right. Pins. Got one there. And one there. And then you just kind of fucking wiggle it back and forth. And you need to see it seat all the way down. And this one, there it goes. Fuck, it went. Oh, my God. Shit. Fucking good luck, YouTube, huh? This shit never happens. Normally it's just a cast iron pitch. Alright, so this piece is set and ready to be reassembled. A little extra love on there. A little extra lube. Can't hurt anything with a little extra lube. Help it slide right the fuck in. Alright. Spring. Which way does the spring go? Oh, it doesn't matter. You hit. So let's put the spring in first. Line that cocksucker up. And we're going to start our little bolt toe. And let's make sure that we're sealing right. Alright. I'm going to put some pressure on the arm here. Oh, actually, that sealed nicely. That bit down the whole way, and I even saw some of the lube spuge out around the edges. I'm liking that. So, yeah, we'll go with it. That's my O-ring. We're good there. Drop that motherfucker in. And I don't know that that was going to help my situation with putting this housing back on, because they are just always a fucking nightmare. always a nightmare. I don't know why it is, but they just don't ever line up easy, and they fight tooth and nail to go back together. And I'm not sure why. What seems to be the trouble here? Everything's lined up perfectly too. There's nothing out of place. That was it. That was the trick right there. Fuck. So the pump housing had to be offset a little bit, and I know that sounds crazy, but that's what it needed. For me, I just like to go ahead and I like to put it on these arms. And that's about 2 grunts. And then cross tighten them, obviously. It takes a lot of space. Oh, there it comes. So now I have enough fluid to fill the body. So now you can just check by turning. Always switch gears and stick the pulley on it and do one of these bitches. And I see the fluid's about to start flowing out, and I'm spilling fluid. I'm spilling fucking fluid. Oh shit. So that shows me, and I can go backwards and it pulls that fluid back in. Shows me I'm getting a pumping effect. Am I 100% sure it's going to be perfect? No. And is this a good test to show that I'm okay to put it in and see? Yes. Is this also helpful? Because when you start it up after rebuilding it, all those veins have nothing on them. They're almost empty because you've drained all the fluid out of the pump. And you do have a moment where they actually run dry. So when you do this, you help to alleviate that initial run dry. Because when you start up a pump after a power steering flush, you usually get a as it's sucking air through the pump, what doesn't like air. It's not good for it. So this helps to alleviate that a little bit. I've been doing this long enough to know. And if I screw it up, I'm more than willing to admit it. So we'll pause it and see how things go when I get this motor back together, which I'm almost there.